Thank you, Ivan, for agreeing to share your experience with us today.
Yes, so I was leaving work as I normally do. I walk out of my front door and turn right, and I just walk down the path a little bit, and there's a park. And I walk through the park to the Aldershot office. I've lived in Aldershot 10 years now, since I moved back from London. Never had an issue at all in Aldershot. Had various issues over the years, but not in Aldershot in relation to any sort of hate crime. And as I was walking through the park, there were sort of four or five men sat on a bench, and probably between the ages of I'd say sort of early to mid 20s. And one of them shouted out, "You're gay, aren't you?" And I didn't particularly think I looked gay on that particular day. I didn't have anything glittery on. I was just on my way to work. I wonder if they had known me in some context or other, in some of the stuff that I've done in Aldershot and organisations that I've been involved in. I don't know. But then another person made a comment and so forth. So at that stage, I said, look, that'd be really not acceptable, these sort of comments. And then one of them said, it's people like you that get beaten up. So when I was, in a sense, defending myself. So I did feel somewhat intimidated because there were obviously several of those. You never quite know which way these things are going to go. So I carried on walking through the park to the entrance. They had got up to follow me, but stopped. And I did call the police towards the end of the park. So that was the incident that happened. That's what happened. I don't, as I said, I didn't. It wasn't like I was. They'd obviously decided that I was gay, and what that was based on, I don't know. I have assumed that one of them had known me in some, or seen me in some other place. So I've worked with different organisations in Aldershot, like the Source Young People's Charity and other charities and organisations. So whether or not they had known of me through one of those organisations, or one of them did, I don't know, and thought, oh, that's that guy that is gay, and it started like that. Or it was just a random, they just decided to call me gay because they thought I looked gay. I don't know. So I was a bit shaken up, in as much as that's never happened in Aldershot before. It was, only a few minutes from my house. One of my concerns was that they'd seen me come out of my front door, the park bench that they were sat on. You can see the road and the houses on this road from it. So I wondered if they'd seen me come out of my front door, because they could easily have done. And the threat about people like you get beaten up. So it wasn't just an insult about being gay, but then there's the inference that about getting beaten up, etc. It was intimidating because there were so many of them. So I did call the police, and they did get back to me, and so I reported it as a hate crime. They did send somebody out later, I believe, but by that stage the gentleman had gone. I should add that I think they'd probably been out all night partying somewhere. I think a couple of them did look like they were drunk, or had been drinking. So because it was fairly early in the morning, I think it was about 8 o'clock in the morning that this happened. Yeah, I did feel a bit, as I say, I felt intimidated, which I'm not used to feeling. I mean, somebody suggested that I walk home a different way and come in through my back door on the way home, so that And I thought, well, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to walk the way that I always walk. But yeah, it does leave you feeling a little bit shaken, particularly so close to your home for that to happen. And for that to happen for no understandable reason. I hadn't looked at these people, I hadn't engaged with them. I was just, walking on my way to work. So, and it was, the incident was all around the fact of my, sexuality. And yeah, so that it didn't feel great. It did leave me feeling a little bit shaken. Yeah. Yeah, I certainly think everybody should report hate crime of any sort. I think it's important that police have records of it and follow up, number one. I think it's important that people talk about it, whether that's to friends or family, or there are organisations out there and numbers. You can report hate crime to Citizens Advice, for example, and they can give you organisations that you can get in touch with. And to remember that any form of verbal abuse, certainly physical abuse, verbal abuse, any form of abuse at all, is not acceptable. So it needs reporting, so that we get a good idea of how prevalent it is within any particular community, and if the police and local authorities have that information, then it gives them a basis on which to sort of plan to try and sort of prevent behaviour such as that and raise awareness of it as well. But also from an individual point of view, I think it's good to talk to people if you feel fearful, because you don't want to let something like that stop you going out or stop you going to the places that you would normally go to. As I say, some people have said, oh, going through your back door, but I thought, no, if I do that, I'm giving in to the fact that I was concerned that they might have seen where I lived and could have come back later on. And then you're living in fear, really, and that's no way to live. So talking things through with organisations or friends or family can help you sort of work through the, what's happened.